I'd like to read a story for the followers of Abdullah Hashem Abu al-Sadiq. It's one that I just thought of. This is for you, followers of the Ahmadi religion of peace and light. As we know, there are sheep, wolves, and sheepdogs. Sheep are known for being strong-willed, yet trusting and open-minded to what the shepherd tells them. Wolves are known to travel in packs, lure sheep into traps, and crunch their bones and lap up their blood. Sheepdogs are a little of both, fluffy and friendly like the sheep, while also being dangerous enough to attack any wolves that trespass on their territory and harm their friends and family. One day a pack of 2 young wolves thought they could masquerade as sheepdogs, slipping into a wolf trap and learning from the interaction between the wolves and the sheep. They learned all about the hypnotic allure of the wolf, the way it guided the sheep into its den, and then how they relished the fine dining on rack of lamb and sheep tartare. While these wolves pointed out the traps to the other sheep, they were learning how to manipulate the sheep into their den. Some years later, the wolves used what they had learned to manipulate a few sheep into a bad spot, snatching their flesh from their flanks. Unfortunately for the wolves, the sheepdogs were called, and the wolves were marked for life in that pasture. It was time to move to a new pasture. The wolves moved to another pasture. They pretended to be sheepdogs hired by the shepherd to take care of the sheep in dangerous times. Look at these other canines with their sharp teeth and beady eyes. Listen to their low growls and loud barks. Watch them crouch to spring on you. They can't be trusted. Only we can, the wolves said. The sheep believed them. They listened to the hypnotic lull of their howls and watched as they watched the moon, fixed focus, minds distracted from the wolves as they carved flesh from the sheep and slurped up their blood. And all the while the sheep believed that these wolves were sheepdogs sent by the great shepherd to protect them, and they deserved what the sheep could provide, whether it hurt, whether it felt wrong, whether they didn't understand why they had to give it up, because the wolves were always circling the den, weren't they? Over time, the wolves' plans were exposed by the sheepdogs, but the sheep were convinced that they were actually wolves in disguise. After all, who but a wolf would care about a bunch of black sheep? Why, the black-furred sheepdogs, of course, couched in their dens where their sheep languished. And then one day the sheep woke up. They realized what they were hearing from the wolves was not the message of the shepherd, but a hypnotic spell from 2 well-taught predators, and they had had enough. The sheep stampeded from the den and into the world where the sheepdogs were waiting. For a long time they were still under the wolf's spell, not really trusting the sheepdogs, no matter how tenderly they were nuzzled and moved toward green pastures and still waters. Some left for other wolves in sheep's clothing, while others ran off by themselves, searching for the true shepherd. Even so, with those thoughts swirling in the heads of the sheep, there were always many who heard the voice of the shepherd in those sheepdogs' barks, and were nursed back to health, ready to follow the shepherd again. And even those who strayed were carefully and lovingly guided back to the shepherd. Without their source of meat and blood, the 2 cunning wolves faded away into infamy. Is that the end? You decide.